You ever walk out of a car dealership, feel like you just got hugged by a porcupine? All smiles, firm handshakes, maybe even a free soda? And yet, 2 weeks later, your like-new SUV is sitting in your driveway with a transmission that sounds like a popcorn machine full of ball bearings. Yeah, that happened to a guy I know. Good friend, actually, last spring. Dropped $18,000 on a certified pre-owned crossover, complete with a shiny warranty booklet and a salesman who called him family. 3 weeks in, the transfer case seized. Turns out it had been submerged in floodwater, rebuilt with mismatched parts, and sold with a clean title thanks to a little cross-state paperwork magic. That story isn't rare. It's routine. And after 30 years under the hood, wrenching, diagnosing, and talking folks off the ledge after they've been burned, I've seen every trick in the book. So today, I'm pulling back the curtain. No fluff, no fear-mongering, just straight talk from a mechanic who's watched good people get played by polished sales floors and slick financing offices. Because here's what they don't want you to realize. Not every dealer is crooked, but enough are playing games that you need to watch your six. And I'm not just talking about the fly-by-night lots on the edge of town. Some of the biggest national chains, they've got systems built to squeeze profit from confusion, urgency, and your trust. So buckle up. I'm breaking down 12 car scams dealers still use in 2025, and more importantly, how you can spot them before you sign on the dotted line. Let's start with the golden goose, certified pre-owned. Sounds bulletproof, right? Factory-backed inspection, extended warranty, peace of mind, but here's the dirty secret. Certified don't always mean clean. In fact, some dealers, especially those buying from wholesale auctions, will take a car that's been totaled, rebuilt, or even salvaged, run it through a basic checklist, slap on the CPO badge, and sell it like it just rolled off the assembly line. I've personally inspected CPO vehicles with water lines inside the door panels, mold growing under the rear seats, and airbag control modules that have been replaced with non-OEM parts. Certification is a marketing term, not a guarantee of history. Always pull a full vehicle history report, and better yet, get an independent inspection before you hand over a dime. And while we're on inspections, ever been offered a free multi-point inspection before you buy? Sounds generous, feels like they're looking out for you, but more often than not, that free service is a fishing expedition. They'll hand you a printout listing $2,000 in critical repairs. Brake pads worn, suspension bushings cracked, transmission fluid contaminated, and half of it is normal wear. The other half is flat out exaggerated. I've seen brake pads at 4 millimeters labeled as dangerous when factory specs says they're good down to 3. It's pressure disguised as protection. Don't fall for it. If a repair is truly urgent, any honest mechanic will show you the evidence, not just a checklist. Now here's where it gets sneaky. VIN cloning and title washing. This one's straight out of a crime drama, but it happens more than you think. A dealer, or the shady wholesaler they source from, takes a clean VIN from a similar model and clones it onto a flood-damaged or salvage car. You run the report, and everything looks perfect. But when you dig deeper, checking the airbag module serial number, the ECU logs, or even the rivets on the manufacturer's plate, you find mismatches. And title washing? That's when a car with a salvage or flood title gets registered in a state with a lax disclosure laws, then re-registered in your state as clean. Boom. History erased. Always cross-reference the VIN across multiple sources, and if something feels off, walk away. Speaking of mileage, digital odometer fraud is easier than ever. Gone are the days of mechanical rollback with a drill. Now, all it takes is a laptop, the right software, and 5 minutes. Dealers can shave 30,000 miles off a high-mileage beater and sell it as low-mileage garage kept. Without pulling full service records or checking physical wear, pedals, steering wheels, seat bolsters, you never know. I once inspected a truck advertised as 28,000 miles that had brake rotors so thin they sang like wind chimes and a clutch that slipped like it was on ice. The seller swore up and down it was one careful owner. Yeah, right. But that's not all. Let's talk about financing bait and switch. You see a killer ad, 0.9% APR for 72 months. You show up, credit score in hand, ready to drive off in your dream car. Then comes the magic phrase. Unfortunately, you don't qualify for that rate. Suddenly, you're being pushed into a 12% loan and pressured to add on rust-proofing, paint protection film, and extended warranty you didn't ask for. Those add-ons are pure profit. The warranty alone can net them $1,500 in commission. And the kicker? You could have gotten better financing from your credit union, but they never gave you a chance to try. And don't trust those pristine service records tucked neatly in the glove box. I've seen dealers print fake oil change stickers, fabricate digital maintenance logs, and even create fake dealership letterhead to make it look like a car was meticulously cared for. Meanwhile, the timing belt hasn't been touched in 120,000 miles. Always call the service department listed in the records and verify work was actually done. Better yet, use a third-party service like Carfax or AutoCheck that pulls data directly from OEM networks. Oh, and that reconditioning fee on your invoice? That's not a real cost. It's a markup disguised as a service. Cleaning the interior, washing the exterior, rotating the tires, topping off fluids, that's part of getting the car ready to sell. It's already baked into the price. Yet I've seen dealers charge anywhere from $300 to $1,200 for it. If you see it on your paperwork, ask them to remove it. If they refuse, that's your first red flag. Here's a darker one. Lemon laundering. Under lemon laws, manufacturers are required to buy back vehicles with repeated unfixable defects, but instead of crushing them, many resell them through private auctions, often out of state, with zero disclosure. That one-owner, low-mileage sedan might have been returned 3 times for a stalling engine or faulty airbags. These cars often show up on dealers' lots with clean titles and no mention of their history. Again, run both Carfax and AutoCheck. Some lemon buybacks only show up on one. And let's not forget hidden frame damage. After a serious collision, some shops will weld up a bent unibody, slap on new panels, and call it minor cosmetic work. But frame misalignment, even by a few millimeters, compromises handling, safety, and crash performance. I've seen cars sold as accident-free that had mismatched paint under the hood and uneven panel gaps. Always get a frame measurement from a body shop before buying any used car with a questionable history. If the numbers are off by more than 3 millimeters, walk away, no matter how good it looks. Watch the fine print too. As-is sales sound normal for used cars, but some dealers bury clauses that waive your right to dispute anything, even if the engine seizes on the way home. And yes, I've heard credible reports of dealers temporarily disabling open safety recalls in the car software to avoid liability before the sale goes through. Once you drive off, the recall reactivates and you're stuck with a potentially dangerous vehicle. Then there's the classic internet special mirage. They inflate the MSRP by $3,000, then discount it back to market value and call it a deal. You didn't save anything. You just got played by math. Always research true market value using tools like Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book, or even Facebook Marketplace comps. If the discount seems too good to be true, check what the real asking price is elsewhere. And then the trade-in trap. This one's subtle but brutal. They'll lowball your trade-in at $6,000, way below market, then quietly bump the price of the car you're buying by $5,500. Net result? You lost $5,500 in equity, and they made it look like you got a fair deal. Always negotiate the purchase price and trade-in value separately. Get both in writing before you sign anything, and never let them pressure you into locking in a trade-in value before you settled on the new car's price. So, how do you protect yourself? 3 simple rules. 1. Run both Carfax and AutoCheck. They pull from different databases and sometimes critical info only shows up on one. 2. Pay $100 for an independent pre-purchase inspection. Any legit mechanic would do it. Tell them you're buying the car and need a full diagnostic, not just a visual walk around. And 3, be ready to walk away. No today-only pressure, no manager approval games. If they're legit, the car will still be there tomorrow. Because here's the real secret they don't want you to know. The biggest scam isn't what they're selling. It's making you think you can't protect yourself. But now you got the tools. you got the knowledge, and you got a mechanic in your corner. If any of these scams sound familiar, if you've been burned before or narrowly avoided it, drop a comment below. I'll read every one. Hit that like button if you'd rather spend your hard-earned cash on gas, oil changes, and road trips than on getting played by a slick sales pitch. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because next week I'm exposing the 5 maintenance services your dealer says you need, but your car absolutely doesn't. Spoiler alert, one of them costs $800 and does absolutely nothing. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, in the world of used cars, trust but verify. And if it smells like burnt oil and too good to be true, yeah, it probably is.